Now at noon, the governor expected to tackle violent crime in his first press conference in several weeks. Plus, students and parents pushing for change in the Pine Bluff School District. More on their meeting with school leaders and what's next. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson gaining support in her effort to become the nation's first black female Supreme Court justice. The latest on the back and forth in Washington. And we're checking back in with people in Northwest Arkansas cleaning up the damage left behind from last week's severe weather. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Michael Lairn here with meteorologist Nathan Scott. Just what a change from this morning, Nathan. It's really nice out there right now, but it was pouring down early this morning.
Good afternoon, Michael. Yeah, we had a noisy night around central Arkansas. As expected, a line of showers and storms rolled their way through. For the most part, they stayed below severe limits. The rain has now made its way out of Arkansas. We still have some leftover cloud cover for parts of the state, and where the clouds are lingering, temperatures are being held down into the low 60s, Arkadelphia, Hot Springs. Meanwhile, it's 70 in Little Rock, 66 in Clinton. There's the rain still moving into Tennessee. They're still dealing with some nasty severe weather through Alabama. Confirmed tornadoes happening at this time, moving towards Georgia. But for us, we've got quiet weather today. Another round of showers and storms arrive tonight. While you're sleeping, there you see it showing up in Northwest Arkansas around midnight. This will be spotty to scattered activity, but some of these storms could pack a little bit of a punch. We do have a slim risk. There could be 1 or 2 strong, possibly severe thunderstorms for North and Northwest Arkansas. I'll have more on the main threats and talk about cooler temperatures behind this front coming up.
For the first time in several weeks, Governor Gov Hutchinson will address the public this afternoon. He's expected to cover several topics, including a second booster for some people. The governor and health secretary, Dr. Jose Romero, will both get their additional dose during the press conference. He's also set to talk about crime in Arkansas and how the state is responding to growing concerns. That press conference is set for 1:30 this afternoon. You can watch that on thv-at-noon.com and on our YouTube channel. Now we want to get to a THV11 update. Students and some community members say they're still concerned after the Pine Bluff School District superintendent met with students on Monday. We first brought you this story last week when students walked out of class in response to violence and also demanding better security. Our Sarah Herbakowitz explains what's next.
At last week's protest, Pine Bluff High School students asked for more support from their school as gun violence claimed the life of a classmate.
The student that passed away 2 weeks ago, all he did was walk off campus and got shot. And we feel like if there was more security, then that wouldn't have happened.
This week, one of the protest organizers, 10th grader Claire Shepard, says they're still asking.
And some kids, they go to school to escape from, streets or their home. If they don't feel safe at school, then what's the point of, going to school?
The school's superintendent addressed these issues in meetings with grades 9 through 12 on Monday, saying, quote, student council representatives and officers posed questions to me on behalf of their class based on a survey they gave their classmates. I committed to a future round of discussions, but Claire says it's not enough.
If nothing is done today, then we're planning a 3-day sick out, and that's when nobody comes to school.
Pine Bluff High School students aren't the only ones concerned. Community members also held their own meeting Monday to ask for what they want changed.
The whole community is experiencing frustration with the way that she's handling the district.
Charlene Wright is a retired teacher and a Pine Bluff district stakeholder, discussing with dozens Monday some of the changes they want to see, specifically from Superintendent Warren.
We're going to start our petition drive of no confidence, along with other avenues that we have.
As both groups say they're pushing for a safer community. Reporting in Pine Bluff, Sarah Herbakowitz for Wake Up Central.
Superintendent Warren tells THV11 she didn't know any details about last night's community meeting. Cameras were not allowed inside. Warren says she's still open to recommendations from students about how to better support them. Little Rock police are asking for the public's help identifying this man in connection to last month's murder outside of a popular Midtown restaurant. They're looking for that guy you see right there on your screen. Investigators are looking to speak with him about the death of 53-year-old Charles Willis, who was shot and killed outside Pizza D Action on March 26th. If you know who this is, call police. Body cam video showing the moments after the shooting of Hunter Britton has now been released. It comes 2 weeks after a jury convicted a former Lonoke County Sheriff's deputy of negligent homicide in his death. A warning, we've blurred the video, but it could still be graphic to some viewers. The footage comes from Lonoke County Deputy Nathan Rice's body cam, which was activated after Michael Davis put out a call of shots fired. Davis shot 17-year-old Hunter Britton during a traffic stop last summer. The video shows Deputy Rice putting the passenger of the car in handcuffs and then finding Hunter Britton's body. Multiple officers responded to the scene, a few of them attempting CPR on Britton while waiting for paramedics. Davis, as you might remember, was later fired from the sheriff's office for not turning his own body camera on during the incident. Meanwhile, Arkansas State Police are investigating a shooting that injured the Cross County Sheriff in eastern Arkansas. We're told deputies were chasing 20-year-old Darius Kirkwood Sunday night, who was identified as a suspect in a murder. During a traffic stop, deputies reportedly tried to get him out of the car, leading to an exchange of gunfire. Kirkwood was killed and Cross County Sheriff David West was hurt. Some good news here, he was later treated and released from the hospital. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the atrocities in Bucha, Ukraine are just the latest examples of Russian crimes against civilians. As Skylar Henry reports, he's calling on the international community to do something about it.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the UN Security Council and said Russia is guilty of war crimes.
Anyone who has given criminal orders and carried out them by killing our people will be brought before the tribunal, which should be similar to the Nuremberg tribunals.
Zelensky toured the town of Bucha Monday, where bodies of civilians were scattered in the streets, and mass graves have been found since Russian troops retreated from the town.
The massacre in our city of Bucha is only one, unfortunately, only one of many examples of what the occupiers have been doing on our land.
Zelensky said the UN should dissolve itself if it can't do something to stop Russia.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to close the UN? Do you think that the time of international law is gone? If your answer is no, then you need to act immediately.
President Biden says Russia is guilty of war crimes, and the U.S. is pushing to remove Russia from the UN's Human Rights Council.
Not only is this the height of hypocrisy, it is dangerous. Russia is using its membership on the Human Rights Council as a platform for propaganda to suggest Russia has a legitimate concern for human rights.
Russia denies it targeted civilians in Bucha, calling it a forgery staged by Ukraine. But satellite images show bodies lying in the streets of Bucha long before Russian forces left the town. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The European Union is proposing new economic penalties for Russia, including banning Russian coal in EU countries. Former President Barack Obama will return to the White House today for an event with President Biden on expanding the Affordable Care Act. Biden and Obama are marking the 12th anniversary of the landmark health care law. The president will announce plans to amend a federal rule that would allow additional families to buy health coverage through the Affordable Care Act insurance marketplace. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson has more support this afternoon in her bid to become the nation's first black female Supreme Court justice. Bradley Blackburn has more on how several more Republicans pledging to back Jackson all but locks in her confirmation later this week.
Republican Senators Mitt Romney and Lisa Murkowski announced last night they will vote to confirm Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. Alongside Maine's Susan Collins, that makes 3 Republicans now backing Jackson, seeming to guarantee her confirmation. In a statement on Twitter, Senator Romney wrote, "After reviewing Judge Jackson's record and testimony, I have concluded that she is a well-qualified jurist and a person of honor. While I do not expect to agree with every decision she may make on the court, I believe that she more than meets the standard of excellence and integrity." Senator Murkowski cited Jackson's judicial independence and temperament while criticizing both sides of the aisle for how political the review process has become. Both senators' endorsements came after the Senate Judiciary Committee was deadlocked over Jackson's nomination in a tie vote. That forced the Senate to use a special procedure to discharge it to the floor for consideration.
Let us move forward with this brilliant, this resoundingly qualified, this historic nominee to the highest court in the land.
Democrats say they want to hold a final full Senate vote on Judge Jackson's nomination by the end of this week, before the Easter recess. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
If confirmed, Jackson's appointment will not change the ideological makeup of the court. It has a 6-3 conservative majority. She would replace Justice Stephen Breyer, who early this year announced he will retire from the high court at the end of its term this summer. Now bringing things back here to Arkansas, we're discussing polling sites. Following last year's redistricting process, the Pulaski County Election Commission has gone from 108 polling sites to 89, but the move has left some voters in parts of North Little Rock upset. They feel it's created an inconvenience for them. Mabel and Florence say they've been voting at Harris Elementary School since it first became a polling site. They say they felt blindsided after finding out it'll no longer be their polling site for the May primaries. Florence lives on the other side of the train tracks in front of the school and says she has to travel through this walkthrough to get to the polling site. Now she'll have to travel 2 more miles to the McAlmont Church of Christ to cast her ballot.
That is not nearly conducive to the walker or to the rider who must come from other North Pulaski communities.
We reached out to the Pulaski County Special School District about this change. They tell us that they value the school's connection with the Harris community, adding that they completed the application to continue polling there, but 2 weeks after submitting it, they were notified the school wasn't needed. Thousands of popular vehicles are being recalled this week due to a host of issues. We'll share what you need to know next. Nathan.
Again, mixture of sun and clouds around central Arkansas. It's quiet out there this afternoon, but tonight showers and storms move in, and behind it, much cooler temperatures. We're not done with frosty conditions just yet. I'll let you know when the next best chance of frost arrives coming up.